Hello and welcome. You're watching Business Today TV. I'm Sakshi Batra and this is Market Today, a show where we talk about the latest market trends. And also in this special, we're going to be focusing on the primary market space, especially Global Health, which is the operator of Medanta chain of hospitals, is going to launch its IPO tomorrow. That's November 3rd. And will be looking to raise about 2,200 crore rupees. Now, this IPO consists of a fresh issue of 500 crores and an offer for sale of about 5 crore equity shares as well. Now, joining in to discuss more details on the upcoming IPO, with me, I have the top management of Global Health. Dr. Naresh Trehan joins in. He's the chairman and managing director. Also joining in with me is Mr. Pankaj Sahni, Group CEO of Global Health Limited. Welcome to the show to both of you, and thank you so much for taking the time out. Let me kickstart by asking Dr. Trehan about this IPO first, to have all the larger audience really understand what is the objective of launching this IPO, how will it really help the company, and what can the prospective investors really expect?
So, just to give you the concept of Medanta and Health Limited brand, the brand Medanta was built to provide on the same platform multi-specialty services of the highest order, so that we can all give to the patient a combined treatment in the case of most complex of problems. So this was representative of in the US, where I was for 20 years. There are institutions like Mayo and Harvard where the highest end of medicine is practiced, all specialties on the same platform. So this kind of facility in India started the Medanta brand from that. So we first built Gurgaon, which is a 400-bed hospital with all super specialties on the same platform, and very high-end critical care services. Like we have 300 beds, critical care beds, which is a very high proportion of any hospital. So this was created. It was very successful in giving the highest end of treatment. Now, what has happened is that when we in 2016, we opened in 2009 and 2016 we had established all the protocols and all the systems were robust. So we felt that we should take this to other underserved areas where this kind of facility was missing. So the first stop was Lucknow, where we built a 1,000-bed hospital to service the 220 crore people of UP. And the next stop was Patna, which was there are 12 crore people in Bihar without this kind of healthcare. And the next stop was Noida. But on the side, Noida, we started building, and it should be completed in the next 24 months. But on the side, in Ranchi and in Indore. So these kind of services that we are providing are now very successful, much appreciated by the public. And to continue the journey, we have now felt that we have reached the stage in the life of our company to go public, so that, and as you know, we are taking in 500 crores as primary, and that will help us to repay all the debt we have, and also to be able to expand and provide of this or other parts of the country and states.
Right. Mr. Sahni, if you could also detail as to how the company is looking to use the proceeds of the funds that will be raised via the fresh equity.
As mentioned by you, the total IPO is going to be 2,200 crores. Out of that, about 500 crores will be the primary capital which will be coming into the company. And out of this 500 crores, 375 crores has been marked for the repayment of some of our loans. These were loans which we had taken for building our facilities in Lucknow and our facilities in Patna. And with repayment, although we have a very strong balance sheet, we're already sitting on 500 crores of cash. Our total gross debt is only about 800 crores. So that gives us a net debt as of 30th of June of about 300 crores or so. And with this money coming in and with the loan repayment, we will not only be able to further strengthen our balance sheet, but we will also be able to save on the interest cost. And that should add further to the profitability. So we are using this money to pay off the loans, set us up for the growth that we see coming. As Dr. Trehan laid out, growth in terms of additional beds, going from 2,500 that we have at June 30th to about 3,500 beds, building out our facilities in Lucknow, Patna, as well as building out in Noida, and then setting us up for opportunities that may come as we move forward.
So you're looking to expand the number of beds to 3,500. That would include the Noida facility that Dr. Trehan was mentioning?
So we've already started our Lucknow facility just about 2 years ago. We started just before the COVID pandemic. That has taken off EBITDA break even in its first full year of operations and performing well. That is about 500 beds today, and that will be continue to add beds there. So that will continue to scale to about 900 to 1,000 beds. Our Patna facility, which we started only in January of this year, is also doing well. Is scaling up. That's about 300 beds right now, and that can go to about 650 beds. And then, of course, our Noida, Dr. Trehan was mentioning, on which we've started construction. We expect that to be operational by FY25, and that will be about 550 beds by the time we are done. So we will be growing our bed capacity across the system, as well as looking at growth in terms of occupancy improvements, new doctors, new services. We added mother and child services in our Lucknow facility just in April of this year. So we see a fair amount of growth coming both in the immediate term as well as as bed capacity gets built up in the medium to long term as well.
Okay. Dr. Trehan, if you could just give us a sense of how are your tier 1 hospitals really performing vis-a-vis the tier 2 hospitals? And is there a reason why you're not looking at all the metros first, for example, but the other smaller cities to open your facilities and hospitals?
So our principles on which we function is that we want to provide this kind of service which does not exist in India per se. It did not, but now it does. And then we want to take this standard to areas which are underserved, and with the principles that it should be, one, in an area where there is need for it. Two, we want to make it as affordable as possible. And third, that that the integrity with which we deliver medicine, we want that to go to different areas. So if you look at our print, we will continue to grow with these principles. So geography is not a problem for us. The whole of India and even neighboring countries is on the canvas, and we'll see wherever these principles, then we will do the needful in those areas.
Okay. Mr. Sahni, could you help us understand how do you see the occupancy rate going forward for all of your facilities? Because we've seen a huge transition from pre-COVID to post-COVID as well. So, where do you see that growing?
So you're right. Our occupancy levels have grown significantly over the last couple of years, both in our mature facilities as well as our new facilities, which started just a couple of years ago. But we've seen very strong occupancy growth, literally, in fact, from very early days of starting of those facilities. As we look to grow forward, there are a couple of levers that we believe are still not fully played out. One of those big levers is international patients and medical travel or medical tourism, as we talk about it. If you look at our performance in financial year 19 and financial year 20, our revenue from international used to be somewhere in the range of about 11 to 12% of our total revenue. Of course, COVID took a little bit of a hit given the travel restrictions, etc., that were there during COVID time. Came down significantly. We see some recovery in our first quarter of financial 23. We see these numbers coming back up to around 6% of our total revenue. But we still believe that this growth is still to come, still not 100% recovered. And the good part is that with the government announcing several initiatives like Heal in India and Heal by India, there is a lot of momentum for us in our country to capitalize on the exceptional talent that we have in the clinical space. And of course, Medanta very well positioned to capitalize on that. So there are opportunities for growth, whether it is in domestic occupancy growth. We've started a bunch of services inside the hospital as well as outside the hospital. We run neighborhood clinics in our Gurgaon residential communities. We've started our outpatient pharmacy business also, which is doing very well. So there are growth opportunities in terms of the mature as well as the growing assets, growth opportunities in terms of international business coming back, as well as growth opportunities in terms of some of the ancillary and supportive services to our hospital business.
Right, absolutely. So, Dr. Trehan, I'd like to understand from you as well on the same point as to where do you see the growth coming from in future? Which are the major divisions that are perhaps the key focus areas and the revenue growth drivers for you, which if you could detail on all of that too.
So as you have seen, from one facility which started in 2009-10 to now, 12 years later, we have now gotten 5 hospitals. And the 6th one is coming online in the next 24 months. But the others, in the similar fashion, others are being planned. But as you know, the restrictions that because not signed those up, that we do not want to talk about it because it's the SEBI rules also apply that you only talk about what you in the DRHP. So that's where but you must understand the philosophy with which we are moving step by step by step. New growth is definitely going to come. And it's only going to this IPO with taking in 500 crores as primary is only going to fuel that. So there is plenty of growth to come.
But Dr. Trehan, are you also looking to expand into any other verticals like Mr. Soni just pointed out about the mother and child facility, the pharmacies as well? Could you help us understand that? How are the ancillary businesses going to grow and vis-a-vis the main business going forward?
So, when you have a trusted brand with this, and people want all the other ancillary services with the same trust, so that we are actually moving forward. Where, like we said, we've taken over the OPD pharmacies in house. We have now started some home services. So I don't want to elaborate on whatever is not in the DRHP, but there are all these things that are by demand from our own patients. So what we are doing is we're doing full continuum.
Sure.
From the point a patient realizes that they need medical services, they will then have facility to connect with Medanta right away. During the rest of the journey through their life, there is going to be now a connectivity with the patient so that all their services eventually can be taken care of by us. So the patients feels the comfort that they are connected to Medanta. They can access us anytime. As there is a lot of video consults going on now. One, we were always doing it, but COVID actually gave it a flip so that now everybody has recognized the value of remote consultation, of remote devices that are available to monitor them. We have a device which is the size of a cigar, where you can keep it with you no matter where you are. By just putting your thumbs on that device, we can get your cardiogram 24/7. So that if you ever get any palpitation, any chest pain, anywhere you're traveling and you're not feeling well, we could check you right online. So these are the devices that we have introduced, and these are only going to help to give that security to our patients that once connected with all their records, things is electronically mapped, and they can get consultations or cure wherever they are.
Absolutely. I'm glad that you pointed it out, Dr. Trehan, because that is what exactly I wanted to understand, that post-COVID also, are digital consultations going to grow as a separate segment? Is that going to be a key focus area even now in the post-COVID scenario?
Yes, of course. Even you'll see that if we were doing, just as a comparison, if we were doing 100 video consults a day, we're doing about 600-700 a day today. So that's why it is important to understand that this technology that is already established or coming down the pike will only make it very, very easy for patients to stay connected to our parent institution.
Right.
So
Mr. Soni, yeah, absolutely. Mr. Soni, I also wanted to understand from you, just, when you talk about financials, Global Health, we know, posted a net profit of about 196 odd crore rupees in FY22, which was 6.8 times on a year-on-year growth. Revenue also has crossed 2166 crore rupees, and that was up by almost 50 odd % on a year-on-year basis. Also help me understand, is this sustainable as a growth parameter when we talk about the occupancy levels, the EBITDA margins as well, and the top line and the bottom line growth?
When you look at our growth, it's important not just to look at our growth from financial year 21 to 22, which no doubt, as you say, has been very strong, but also to look at our growth financial year 20, which was a pre-COVID time, when we didn't have some of the revenue dips that you saw in the first quarter of financial year 21. But when you look at our revenue growth, even from financial year 20 to financial year 22, it has actually been very strong and truly exceptional, both on the top line as well as on the EBITDA and the bottom line point of view. So we feel very good about the growth that we've seen over the last couple of years. Even when you take COVID aside, we've seen this growth in our mature facilities, which is our Indore and Ranchi assets. We've seen our occupancy levels grow. We're adding in new teams. We've added in new services. Just as an example, a couple of years ago, we introduced the Institute of Chest Surgery and Lung Transplantation, which is a new department which we started in our facility in Gurgaon. In addition, we've had phenomenal growth really in our hospitals in Lucknow, taken off really well from day one. That's performing exceptionally well, generated in financial year 22 an EBITDA level of about 28%. Our Patna facility, which is also reasonably new, came on board in January of this year. That's also growing quite well. So when you look at the mature asset growth and when you look at the newer assets as they come on board, as we get more doctors, more beds into the system, we feel fairly confident about the growth that we see coming on board. And given the size and scale of assets that we have, and because of our doctors all work full time, they only work at Medanta exclusively. So we have the benefits of operating leverage as we scale up. We're able to look at a significantly lower marginal cost in terms of serving every incremental patient. So as you see volumes grow, as you see occupancies grow, that translates to the bottom line in a meaningful manner. So we feel very confident about this, both as in the existing as well as in the upcoming assets.
Okay. Dr. Trehan, what could be the immediate challenges that you may face after getting listed? Is there something that is on top of your mind to mitigate those challenges right as we move into the new calendar year as well?
So, it's always, medicine is a living challenge in the sense science moves while every 24 hours. So one of the things that we have instituted in our own establishment, we have committee that actually runs the medical part of the institution, not only in Gurgaon, but all our facilities. Collectively, we always look at what are the new science, new technologies that will help to mitigate their illness faster, less cost, and with less. So we also have a whole, we are one of the hospitals where there is an Ayurvedic hospital inside the hospital.
Okay.
Inside our facility. So are actually doing combined treatments. It had a lot of success in treating neurology, sort of complications like strokes and recovery from that by combined treatments of modern medicine and Ayurveda together. And we are doing, in diabetes, we are doing a lot of research on that also. So Medanta is on the cutting edge, and we have to keep it on the cutting edge by evolving science for our own patients and also accumulating science from around the world. So those are the challenges, and they are basically faced on the quality of care that we want to continue to give.
Okay, but would you also be looking at any inorganic growth opportunities going forward, apart from the organic growth that you're looking at? In the fears
Yes.
of, like you said, that, tie-ups with the Ayurveda and, having those centers as well. Anything of that sort on cards?
Yes. So, we can't talk about any future plans which are not in the DRHP, as you know. And the fact is that this is a very broad canvas and it's open to us. And we will continue to do new frontiers and open new facilities wherever they are needed with the principles which are the driving principles of Medanta under the Global Health company. So the basic thing is we have one, that we will want to be at the highest end of medicine. Second, that we want to keep it as affordable as possible for people. And three, with the integrity that we are known for, we want to not compromise that ever. So if these three conditions are met, every opportunity is open to us. So that's where we are very sort of committed to serving the people, enlarging our footprint with the same standard as we have established so far.
Okay, well, on that note, thank you so much, Dr. Trehan, Mr. Sahni, for being with us on this show to share with us all the insights about what can investors really expect from the upcoming IPO. All the very best to you for this upcoming issue, and hope to catch up very soon with you to understand more insights about the business that you're in. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
If you like the video, do like, comment, share and subscribe.